personal run-ins with the law, I've had a few. I'm probably one of the only ones out of y'all that have been arrested.
False. That is absolutely positively
all right.
false.
So I always thought, it might be.
He said one of the only.
Yeah,
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely one of the few on that.
So
All right, I'm with you, Bonds. We're together.
So I've been arrested a couple times, but to tell you the truth, they were both due to like suspended licenses, nothing egregious.
Never mind. We're
right, and
we're
they're
on
not,
different levels.
they're not. It's not because I incited a riot or got into a fight or assault or anything like that. More just routine traffic stops because I was speeding or blew past a stop sign or something like that.
You got arrested for having a
Arrested
suspended
for that?
license?
Yeah.
I've been pulled over with a suspended license and had my car impounded, but arrested? That seems a little excessive.
You get
Was that
arrested.
your second go round? Like, had they already stopped you before?
Nope, it's first time.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
No storm.
So in Massachusetts, you would get they would let you go, but in Connecticut, because I lived in both places, it's a criminal offense if you have a suspended license and you're operating a motor vehicle. So you will get arrested and tried like you're doing any other crime. But I'll say this: I've never been the type to escalate a situation unless someone is trying to escalate on me first. If a cop shows me respect first, I don't have a problem or I don't have a reason to act out and, try to heighten the situation. I'll have my day in court and I get to speak on behalf of myself as to what happened. If I'm in the wrong, I'll admit I'll take the charge. I was in the wrong. But if I felt like had some bias against me or an injustice, then I'll say that to the judge. It's only happened twice. First time I was like, whatever, I just want to pay to get out. So I paid my way, took it. And I haven't had big run-ins where there were injustices. I'll tell you once that I was downtown and there was, everybody who's been to Springfield nightlife knows there's a bunch of fights that always happen somehow, some way. So I was downtown before and I was minding my business with me, Sean, and I think Sam might have been with us back then. I'm not sure. But we were minding our business, just going around, club was letting out. Somebody started a fight. Actually, it was Christy. She started a fight. But we were just watching. Me and Sean, we were just watching. This is actually the time that Sean met Stephanie. And somebody came over. I won't tell that whole story, because it's public.
So you doing a lot of name dropping.
So after that fight, anyways, cops came over. They're telling me and Sean, like, oh, y'all need to go. And we were like, yeah, we're walking. They're like, y'all need to walk faster. I was like, well, we're walking to where you're telling us. So dude hits me with a nightstick. I just go because it's like, they're already upset. They're already trying to de-escalate stuff. It would take a lot to try to really sit there and have a real escalation with a cop. And when I see he's trying to do his job and protect the peace, I'm willing to comply. In that instance, maybe I was walking slow, being a little arrogant. I don't know, but he was trying to protect the peace. So I can't fault him for trying to do his job at that point. And nightstick hurt a little bit, but I've had little small run-ins, but for the most part, I try to keep a calm, collective mind when I'm running in with the police. And I don't feel like I've been treated biasly or unjust during those moments, just kind of them doing their job. And, they got me. I was riding dirty.
Because for me, I haven't had negative impacts with cops of that kind, but it doesn't take away the understanding of what's right and what's wrong at the end of the day. So, the same aspects and other, situations that people were dealing with, the whole, being roughed up by the cops, having the excessive force, I haven't had that. The only time I've ever been pulled out of my car and sat on the curb, I gave, consent to search my car, and he didn't even put his hand on my shoulder. He just said, all right, well, just go sit in front of the car. All right. He asked me if I had a gun, if I had any weapons, any drugs. No. My registration was expired, and he let me go. Like, he actually told me that before he drove off. Like, oh, by the way, you might want to get your registration renewed. It expired a month ago. And then that was it. But he didn't care about anything other than, do you have any guns? Do you have any drugs? Well, if you don't, then you're good to go. And that's been my experience with city cops. State cops give me tickets when I speed, but city cops are the one that's always asking for drugs. Right. But city cops will ask, do you have any guns? No. Do you have any drugs? No. Or I have a little bit of weed. Oh, okay. And then that's it. It doesn't matter license registration. Doesn't matter, anything else. It's just like, if you don't have guns, that's not you're not who we're looking for. And that's been all my experiences. That privileged voice as well sometimes, because I'll question them at the same time. I've been pulled over and it's like, hey, you searched through my car. Whose pills are these? What's the name on the bottle? Oh, it says John. Who's the guy in the car next to me? His name is John. Oh, okay. I wonder who that is. Hey, officer, why is your partner searching me? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? So you're just going to detain me while he does something you don't know? Is that what you do? Like, these are conversations I'm having while he's searching through my car. But it's like, I know I didn't do anything. I know I don't have anything on me. So it's like, if I go down, it's because you did that. Like, I know I'm safe unless you do something otherwise. And personally, it just hasn't happened to me.
Or actually to what Jay was saying, I've had a few run-ins myself, and for the most part, my experience hasn't been negative. But I was actually just talking about this yesterday, and a story came up that I want to know if you remember, Bonds, because you and me were together back when you used to work for Wings and you were delivering.
Oh, and, yeah, we got pulled over.
His car, we got pulled over in Wilbraham.
Yeah.
And
what is Wilbraham?
And we had been smoking, and I had a lot of trees in the glove compartment.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, in that situation, like, I
like
knew
an egregious amount or something.
I had an ounce.
Ooh,
so it would have been enough to get bagged for, and that was way before it was decriminalized and all of that. So,
right.
I would have got bagged, had he decided to probe. And I think what it was that ultimately saved us was the fact that we were delivering food in that Wings topper on top of the car, because I know there ain't no way when you rolled down that window that he didn't smell that weed. There ain't no way.
He definitely
cops around the area were definitely saving Wings employees. I've been pulled over doing 70, 80 down Parker Street just to get lit up, and then it's like, oh, your Wings? All right, slow it down. And then walks right off. Like,
right.
Go Wings.
Good morning. That's it. But also,
Wings
I don't know if anybody's ever been real with themselves, but there's a reason I'm not a cop. And it's because at an early age, I learned early I wouldn't be a bad cop. Facts. I would abuse my power. And it's bad, but I would. They have a connection where they literally protect their own. I can get my aggression out on people and then have people lie for me. Like, it's just a whole setup of an organization where it's just like, it allows you to do this stuff and it doesn't have any consequences with it. And I learned that before being a cop, before having friends that are cops, like in the middle of high school, thinking of what am I going to do after high school? Well, I could do this, I wouldn't mind this situation, but it's like at the same time, well, if I run into a drug dealer and he's got 50,000 on him, I might just have to hold that. I don't know. I can't tell myself that I wouldn't because I'm 17. Like, I might have to hold that. You might have to loss.
I think Kev's a cop, and having Kev as a cop, it makes me think twice about, all cops are just assholes. They're all pigs. It makes me think differently because Kev is out there really doing his job, and he's really trying to make the world a better place. And everyone says there's a few bad apples, I get that. But we need more, I don't want to call it programs. We need more classes and trainings for police so that they can, like Marcus alluded to in one of the chats, for mental health, if for nothing else. So that we're making sure that
mental check-ins.
Right, just mental check-ins. And I think men in general just don't do enough mental check-ins. And the majority of people on the force are men, unfortunately. I don't often see women abuse. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I don't often see, women abusing people they're putting under arrest when they are police. It's really men and how they're dealing with their aggression. And, you know, maybe 2 days before they were trying to pull someone over and that person was being really difficult for no reason at all, you know?
Yeah.
I'll use Derek Chauvin for an example. You know, that guy, he definitely deserves the second-degree murder charge because, you know, second-degree murder as defined is basically you kill someone with reckless endangerment. That was reckless what he did. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But leading up to that, I'm wondering, what was his last 2 weeks like while he was working? You know, how many run-ins did he have? How many people did he have to pull over?
Right.
What was going on at home? His wife divorced him a couple days later when he got the conviction.
Yeah,
So,
she was like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
Right, exactly.
That's
So
not
it's like
all of a sudden decision. She's
Yeah, I
been
don't
thinking
think
that.
I don't think that's gonna come out of nowhere. Like Bond said, that was part of build.
right. So
Yeah.
what were you going through in the past few weeks that ultimately led up to this? Like you killed someone, man. Like you didn't use your discretion. You didn't protect life, which is your very first duty as a police officer, as a peace officer. That's your duty, protect life.
Nonchalantly, not even hearing the 18, 30 people around you.
Right. So
But see,
In your
with
own world.
him, though, it would be easier to buy into that possible scenario if he didn't have a history of this already. You know,
I noticed that too. That's true. He did have a long history of complaints against him.
IA a thing anymore? Is that just something I heard on TV? Like, I don't even know anymore. I think it might be something just for TV because there needs to be an internal affairs to police these things and just check up on these complaints. Like, as many complaints as I heard he had, you know that you could have probably diffused the situation by just checking on, like, hey, so I heard you had you wrote somebody up yesterday. What happened? Just tell me your side. Okay. And, you know, deem if it's, you know, all right, let's suspend you for a couple of days, suspend you for a week. Maybe if he got suspended a week or a month prior to this, then he'd be like, all right, maybe I shouldn't sit on this guy for 10 minutes. You know,
right.
Maybe I might want to be double thinking this because I just got out of the principal's office type of thing.
Another thing we need to really look at, I get there's equal opportunity, equal employment, EOE, for everywhere that you have to apply to for a job or a position. But maybe we should strongly consider when we're hiring police in certain districts or cities, they have to be from those neighborhoods so that they can relate to those people. You know, what good does it do for us to hire a guy who lives out in like Wilbraham or Hamden or some rich area?
Or who's not even from there.
Right. And he has no idea how to police the people in Springfield. He has no connection. He doesn't know the places that are bad. You know, he has no knowledge of the place before he even gets on the job. So, you know, how effective can he be? You know?
Okay, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate on that one. Because of some of the corrupt nature of police in the past, do you necessarily want people who have a connection to the neighborhood? You're more likely, I'll say the powers that be would argue that you're more likely to be corrupted and show favoritism towards people you know, get caught up in the drug scene because of people you grew up with, etc.
This is that motherfucker that used to bully me in high school.
Right. You're more likely to whoop somebody's ass because he stuffed you in a locker in high school.
That's
I know that for I know that for a fact. There's a few cops that I knew when I used to work. I was a young teen. Well, I think I was like 19 maybe. There were these cops that would come into Game Crazy at the time when it was open. I used to work there, and they come all the time. You know, I used to see them, you know, in their uniform. I used to see them as civilians. But those guys, those dudes were crazy. It was like a white dude and a Puerto Rican dude that, you know, always came together. Those cats were always together. And I mean, they'd always be partying. Nothing wrong with partying, you know, you party, you're a normal person. But the conversation that they were having with me at that time, you know, joking around, you know, about them going, you know, having ski parties at their house and the people that they had over, it was really crazy. Like, aren't you supposed to be arresting these guys arresting these dudes instead of providing you with some drugs while y'all are partying? Like, this is crazy. You know, and they talk about, you know, that's our good friend, you know, we're not gonna arrest him. Like, this is crazy, you know, and they were from Springfield. Not to debunk what you're saying, Bonds, I mean, it's a good idea.
In theory, it really is.
Because, I mean, let's say I become a cop. I'm not arresting any of you. I'm sorry. Like I'm gonna.
No, that's fair. I mean, maybe there should be a ratio or a quota to meet for those numbers.
That's a
Not that we
problem
have
now.
to, every single person has to come from Springfield, but we need to make a quota. Wow, what happened to my lights? We need to make a quota so that there is some sort of information and people are knowledgeable of the area they're patrolling. The peace they're trying to protect.
Well, another thing is like with the cops and like with that suspension, I mean, with suspension, it should be mandatory, like a psychiatric check-in with that suspension.
Yeah,
it should be mandatory for them to have 2 sessions in that week period, or more than X amount of sessions if you're suspended for more than a week. I mean, like it's something that's very necessary, as Bond said. For males, period. Like I'm not ashamed to say, like I've signed up to go see a psych. Not because I think I'm crazy, but I need to be able to express and get things out of my chest and head that I don't, necessarily really want to share with anyone, or just to talk to another adult that has a middle ground, that has no bias, doesn't know me, isn't gonna say, hey, you shouldn't do this to this person. Like, you don't know who the person is. They really have no say in it. And one thing that I thought, I don't know much about like the police precinct or what's in there now, but I know most jobs have HR. Is there some sort of HR within a police department that can hold people accountable? Like if Brock has a complaint against Marcus as a police officer, that can remain somewhat anonymous. That way, Brock isn't looked at like, oh, you broke the code, bro. Like
I thought that was internal affairs, but shit.
Is there internal affairs, or is that just something they use? Because this is crazy.
That's something we just see on TV.
Yeah.
Like NCIS.
Right.
Yeah, NCIS the first 48. They're like, oh shit, we know this is the real police. We gotta hire that actor to be the internal affairs on first 48, so that we can make sure we're covered.
I'm trying to tell you, it's not a real thing.
But it might be stupid too. It's like having the what's it called? The people that inspect restaurants, like the food inspectors or whatever.
Oh, the health department.
Like, all right, I mean, I'm pretty sure when Bonds ran wings, he had a heads up when they were coming over. Like, all right, guys, let's clean this area up
all the time.
So
it's the same with hospitals, bro. I mean, Joint Commission, police and hospitals. We know when they're coming.
It defeats the whole purpose. It should be a surprise. Like, I want to catch you guys on a regular day, how you guys regularly look. Now be prepared for me to come here. Because, I mean, I know for a fact, like, from what I've heard, allegedly, allegedly, wings was the cleanest place. Like, the only time I ate wings is when I knew Jay or Bob's was there to give me some food. And I sat back there and I watched everyone make my food. Like, all right, cool. I'm watching Bonds make these tenders.
Bonds used to hook me up with those damn. Oh my god!
I would never order wings. I was trying to them not being there. Like I had to be there present.
Oh my god, man!
The platter.
Them plates that Bonds and Jay used to make. Y'all was the real MVPs back then.
Those honey mustard.
Y'all the reason I don't eat wings to this day.
3 meals out of them plates,
bro. Those honey mustard tenders were life. I'm still trying to duplicate that shit.
Yeah, I used to watch y'all and be like, yo, that shit is so nasty. Like, look at them. Just like the second day, and they're loving it. I was like, I'm still over wings.